Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner. My name is Dean Meagher. Today I'm going to focus on shots hit in between 60 metres and 10 metres, and I'm going to show you a really good practice session that will help you to get better at this distance. So to start with, I'm down on Hidden Valley, generally a place that is sometimes a little bit too hidden for people. They don't come down here, they don't practice, and therefore when they get out on the golf course, they tend to struggle when they have a shot in between that sort of meterage. And what I've got set out for myself here down in Hidden Valley, I've got a small bucket of balls from the pro shop. I've dumped the balls here. I've stepped away 10 metres to put the bucket down on the grass. I've also got ahead of me that red flag on the right hand side, which is 40 metres, and the yellow flag on the left, which is 60 metres. So I've got three distances that I think people should be practicing and getting confident with. And so I've got my lob wedge and my sand wedge. If those clubs don't reach the distance that you need, please bring a few more clubs down. Bring your pitching wedge, gap wedge, 9-iron, or whatever club is going to get you to that distance. Because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to land the ball either on the bucket or you're trying to land the ball right next to the flag. You want to see if you can land the ball the distance that you're trying to land it. Because when you're out in the golf course, you are faced with a lot of very challenging shots that you need to land the ball exactly where you need to be. If you don't get that right, you can either leave yourself in 3-putt territory or, as I've talked about, missing the green. So a couple of things I like to make sure I have a good practice session with is that, number one, I've got variety. So I've got the ball here on some nice tight fairway grass. I could easily step back and hit a few shots out of the rough here. So already I've got a bit of variance of lie that I can sort of practice. I've got a couple of different clubs that I can try for these different distances. And of course, I've got my 3 targets. And I think that's really important to have that kind of simple variety, because a lot of the time I see people practicing near the 9th green where they're chipping out of the rough a lot. And unfortunately, that may not help your technique. It may also make you struggle to chip well, because a lot of the time you'll be chipping into the grain when you're in the rough near that 9th green. And not only that, you may be also teeing your ball up nice and high, so you're getting used to potentially a not so good habit of technique that may not work when your ball is sitting on a tight sort of lie like this. And I think it's really important to be able to play off both lies. And for me, the more important to really work on is the tight lie. That's the one that you want to get right first. If you can do this, you can chip off this lie. If you chip off this lie, it doesn't mean to say you can chip off that lie. Okay, so that's the variation that I want to see in a practice session. The next thing is technique. And I'm just going to give you one little simple piece of advice that I think helps me to make sure my technique is in place. So I'm actually going to chip to that little 10-meter bucket there. And what I'm looking for is a checkpoint when I finish my chip, and I'm going to talk you through that now. So I swing through. Now what I'm looking for is that the club face is slightly open, it's not closed and pointing at the ground, it's a little bit open facing towards the sky. Number 2, that the butt of the club is pointing at my left pocket. So as I come through here, that means that it's sort of, you haven't flipped the club, you haven't scooped the club, because if I scoop it, the butt of the club will point this way, it won't point towards my left pocket. The third thing I check on is my chest facing the target when I finish my chip shot. So I want to make sure that all 3 things are in place. Let me see if I can try to chip it into that bucket there. Ooh, close, but not good enough. So I need to do some more practice on that. I'll then maybe change clubs, go to my sand wedge, and then go to my 60-meter shot. So again, I've got that variety, and I'm going to try and land it on that distance. Now, when you get to the longer shots, to me the technique is still very similar. It's just that I'm doing a bigger swing. I might widen my stance just a little bit, but I am still feeling like my weight's on my front foot, feeling like my stance is relatively narrow, and the ball position's right in the middle of my stance. So turn through. I can check that sort of position. That club face is sort of angled nicely. The butt of the club's pointing at my left pocket, and I turn my chest through the shot. So if you come down here to Hidden Valley, grab a small bucket, you can have a wonderful session where you are practicing different distances, you've got variety, and when you get out on the golf course, you'll feel a lot more confident when you have to go off a certain angled shot and this kind of thing. So would love to see more people down here. I hope this video has given you some direction when it comes to practicing, and hopefully it'll help you drop your scores on the golf course.